This train service started in the year 1900. In its first week of operation, it was at capacity. 40,000 passengers a week used what was then called the Northwestern Elevated Line. Now the red and purple lines serve 130,000 passengers a day. And in the last 5 years, rush hour traffic on the red and purple line has increased by 40%. This is clearly a successful undertaking to move people to their jobs and to the places where they shop. We now have a dramatic change in Washington that took place last night. In fact, this week. We have a change in the way we fund mass transit. In the old days, if you wanted to get money to build, you had to have something called a new start, a new idea, a new line. And a lot of us said, well, what about the core capacity of the United States? What about the subways and the train systems that serve so many cities successfully every day, like Chicago? We finally convinced the Department of Transportation, with the cooperation of President Obama, to create a core capacity fund. $120 million that cities like Chicago can now compete for, and I know we will compete successfully. And then another miracle occurred, and I want to report on it. This week, Congress passed an appropriation bill. This week, the House and the Senate agreed on an appropriation bill for the remainder of this fiscal year. And here, another miracle, which Congressman Quigley can attest to, every single member of the Illinois congressional delegation, every Democrat, every Republican, Senator Kirk and myself, we all voted for it. So at a time when Washington is usually face-to-face and fighting, we finally came up with an agreement, a good agreement, to fund our government for the remainder of this fiscal year and to put investments in America, like the core capacity of mass transit. Mass transit, I predict, without fear of contradiction, will continue to grow. And now the city of Chicago and state of Illinois can compete for these federal funds and bring the safest, most modern transportation to this great city of Chicago.